Flipping Houses for Rookies. The only podcast that shows you how to take back your financial freedom and live the American dream by becoming a real estate investor. Without the banks, without the big wigs, and without the realtor's nonsense. This isn't about selling you coaching or some get-rich-quick scheme. It's about opening your eyes to the possibilities so you can make real chunks of dough, buy your life back, and become a free American. With over 400 episodes aired, we're delivering everything you need to know to find deals, talk to sellers, structure deals, and win big. It's time to take action, change your mindset, and claim what's yours. Real estate is the key to your freedom, and we're here to show you the way. Subscribe now and catch our latest episodes on YouTube at Flipping Houses for Rookies, because your financial freedom starts today. Now, here are your hosts, Bill and Pete.
All right, here we are at another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies. Good morning, Peter.
Morning, Bill, and hello to everybody.
Here we are. All right, so we're about ready to record podcast number 473. The title of today's podcast, as promised, is Your Schedule versus Creative Real Estate Freedom, Part 2. Last week, or episode number 472, was Part 1. Here is the description. Holy shit. I almost didn't record this episode. See, last episode, number 472, I exposed the 6 deadly malpractices that keep 97% of creative investors from scaling their income. And afterward, I sat in my office for some time, staring at my notes, asking myself one question. Should I actually give them the cures? Because here's the thing. What I'm about to reveal in this episode isn't theory. It's not motivational fluff. It's actually psychological ammunition that separates the 3% who build systematic freedom from the 97% who stay trapped in sophistication slavery. This is what nobody is telling you. The difference between struggling and scaling isn't about market knowledge. It isn't about connections or capital or even hard work. It's about curing your amateur psychology. And most rookies, they're not ready or willing to do what they need to do. They'd rather work 60 hours a week than compress their timeline for any kind of breakthrough results. However, if you are ready for a scaling transformation, then buckle up, because this episode will bring you to places in your mind you didn't even know you had. Ta-da.
Okie dokie. Okie dokie.
All right, so a little bit of housekeeping. In case you haven't grabbed my book, Leads, Deals, Cash, Creative Real Estate Operators Manual, you need to head on over to Amazon and just type in William Hawthorne. And I've written 7 books, but this is my latest book on creative real estate. It is absolutely, positively industry standard, new way of doing creative real estate. Anybody that's read the book has given me raving reviews because it is a system in a box. It's actually a blueprint on how to do creative real estate. Okay, so head on over to Amazon and just type in William Hawthorne and grab yourself a copy. Make sure you subscribe to us wherever you're watching us or listening to us. Make sure that you like us if you're on social media, and leave a review, good, bad, or indifferent, if you would wouldn't mind, so others can hear about this podcast. I'm assuming that with 473 podcasts, we might be doing something. So good reviews or bad reviews, I don't even look at them anymore. I just I just do what I do, and there you go.
Yep.
Okay, so make sure you head on over to Amazon. Also, if you're interested, I have a newsletter that I send out every single week. It's called Creative Real Estate Dealology. Creative Real Estate Newsletter, dealology.com. Okay, and it's a free newsletter. If for some reason you don't remember that, you can go to flippinghousesforrookies@gmail.com, send me an email, and I will give you a link. That's flippinghousesforrookies@gmail.com, and I'll send you the link to the free newsletter. I send it out every Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Time, and there you go. So there's all the housekeeping for us, so let's get on to the podcast.
Okay, here we go.
Check this out. About 2 to 3 weeks ago, I was on a coaching call and watched a brand new investor. He had only been in Creative REI Reply for like 3 weeks, barely. Right? So I'm on this call. What did I write here? So we're going to call this guy Mike. It's not his real name. Let's just call him Mike, okay? So he made 15 grand in 90 minutes of his time. How? He talked to one seller for about 45 minutes, got a slot deal signed, then spent another 45 minutes posting it online, talked to a qualified buyer that paid him 5% markup of the property. Markup meaning 5% over the asking price on a $300,000 property. Total time invested, 90 minutes. Total profit, 15 grand. That's $600 per minute. But here's the part that may make you sick. A few months earlier, Mike was working 60-hour weeks, maybe making $3,000 a month if he was lucky. That's if he got his overtime. Some months he didn't get overtime.
Wow.
What changed for Mike? He stopped being an amateur. And that's what this entire podcast is about. See, I've been coaching creative real estate for decades now. I've seen it all. And just when I think I've seen it all, something else pops up.
Yeah.
These guys that come on here and promote, I picked up a few new platforms and they come on here and promote their stuff. So I've been coaching creative real estate for decades, and I noticed some disturbing things. And there's 4 of my top ones that I'm going to give to you right now, and then I'm going to head on over to the solutions for the scaling malpractice.
Okay.
Number one thing that I noticed. The rookies who complain about not having enough time are the ones who let their work expand into every minute available or allotted without paid results. They don't challenge the fact that, like, okay, so I work 40 hours a week, or I work 10 hours a week on creative real estate, and they're looking for things to do. Instead of measuring themselves on the results, like I have 13 or 15 option agreements or slot deals posted for sale right now, and I got a chance of making 15 grand in 90 minutes to make $600 a minute.
Mm-hmm.
They're focused on swapping hours instead of swapping products. In other words, their exchange is their time, not a result that a high-paying customer would give them. And in real estate, we have high-paying customers.
True.
So the people that complain that there's not enough time, I either find that they're expanding their work into the amount of time they've allocated, and they're not thinking with the right thing, which is an amateur mindset, or their environment is infecting them, and they tell me things like, well, I got to do this for the kids, or I got to watch my mother, or my elderly mother, or I have a music business, like you tell me. I have this, I have that, I got to go to church, I got to go on vacation, and it's not a priority. And that is the number one thing that I notice. Not having enough time are people that manage their time incorrectly. They have the wrong viewpoint of what they should do with their time. They don't realize that they should buy their loafing time. In other words, have enough products and make enough money that if they can make money in 10 hours, they can loaf off for 30 hours. Mm-hmm. They don't think of their loafing time as having been purchased by their production.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, they also dream about passive income. But are the rookies that practice, now listen to this. So they talk about having passive income. And here's what the rookie does. The rookie practices until they do it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
The pro practices until they can't do it wrong.
Okay.
So the amateur practices until they can do it correctly. In other words, that's good enough. The pro practices until he just can't do it wrong. No matter what happens, he does it right. It's a natural process to him. It's not a process anymore. It's just part of him. It's like, if you wanted to talk about your children, you don't need to be scripted. You just talk about your children, right? Or if you talk about your favorite restaurant or your favorite movie or whatever it is you do, your favorite, in your case, your favorite guitar or your favorite piece of music. I've been in plenty of rooms with you guys, you and Steve and Garrett. Garrett is unbelievable, right? I've been in rooms and listened to you guys talk about music, and it's not a scripted thing. You just know it, you love it, it's passionate, and you've practiced it until you can't do it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's a much different thing than practicing to do it correctly. That, Peter, is actually the difference between being interested and being interesting, if you think about it.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So if you're practicing it to do it correctly, you're just being interesting.
Yeah.
If you practice so you can't do it wrong, that's being interested. Number three, and the rookies who want time freedom are involved in trying to know everything before they start, and they never start. Or they do start and have to have everything they feel like they need. Not what's needed, but they feel like they have to have everything they feel like they need before they start, without ever starting and knowing what they need. So they manufacture these things that they have to have before they can start, and then never start. And then when they actually start, and I'm talking about even just being on the phones, right? So if you're on the phone and you're going to talk to a seller, you think you need to have a script, you think you need to know about subject 2, you need to know about this, you need to know about that. So you've practiced for 3 decades, some people, to get all these things, right? I don't care if you practice for 3 days. It's not worth it. Because when you get on the phone, you're going to find out that everything you thought was going to happen in that conversation doesn't happen. It's completely different than what you thought, right? I mean, how many times have you done that? Like you were a teenage kid and drove in the car with your mom or your dad or somebody and watched them drive, thinking you know how to drive because you paid attention to them, until you get behind the wheel of the car, right? Everything's that way. Everything is that way. Right?
Yeah.
You think you know, but you don't, and you think you have to have this, and you have to have that, and you have to have this, and you have to have that. So you have to have before do. And you can't do that. Well, you can do that, but you'll never get anywhere.
Well, you certainly don't know what the other person on the other end is thinking and what they want until you find out. You can't go in thinking, oh, this would be good for them. What the hell do you know? You haven't asked them yet.
So what happens is these people start, that's right, Peter, these people start and they have to have their personal involvement on every aspect of the transaction because they're afraid they're going to lose the deal, they got scarcity, and they got to touch every little piece of it.
Mm.
Or they do the opposite. I've seen this probably more than what I just said. The opposite is they want to hand the work off to a VA. Well, instead of practicing the scripts and knowing what closes people and what does the paperwork and how to say this and how that, they hire a VA, a virtual assistant, and give them the script and say, just read the script. And then they spend all their time dealing with a bazillion questions that they can't answer because they actually handed off work that they can't manage because they don't know anything about it.
Yeah. That's true.
Number 4. They are no bests. Now, this is the most important. This is really number 1. And I'm going to do this in a quick manner here, but I'm telling you I could do an entire podcast on this because this happens to people and they don't even know it.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't. If you know best, you know best. You wouldn't notice.
So here's what I mean. They are no best and think that their past experiences is good data. They're evaluating with their past experiences based on what they think. Well, I would never talk the way Bill does to a customer.
Oh.
I'm not that person. So their past experiences is evaluating for what they're gonna and not do. What they're gonna do and what they're not gonna do.
Yeah.
So when I say no best, it's because they think their past experiences are good. They feel like they're a cut above everybody else or know something more than everybody else, or they're comfortable with it in their own skin, right? What they don't realize is that their past experience only got them this far. And that's not where they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what has to happen, which never happens. And I say all the time, I want to work with people that they want to be led, not managed.
Mm-hmm.
Because people that want to be led and can just take the ball and run with it are a whole different breed than people that need to be managed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So my point is this. The only way to learn a new topic and go into a higher level, in other words, scaling, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only way to do that, there is only one way to do this. You have to temporarily suspend your experiences. And you have to take in the new ways and learn new things to get that gargantuan leap. And when you hear people say, well, I think, or what we should do, or no, here's what we have to do, those kind of things, they're not temporarily suspending their beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
This, by the way, is an absolute underground, absolute proven, positive, absolute mindset for a copywriter. This is the difference between a copywriter that makes millions on his newsletter and a copywriter that can't get 2 people to read it. Copywriter means salesmanship on the page, right? So this is like sales pages, this is like sales funnels, all that stuff, is that you have to get the reader to temporarily suspend their ideas and their beliefs so you can put in the new idea.
Okay. I was wondering how that fit in. That makes sense, though, because why read the information if you could just stay with your old ideas? If you're not going to change your mind about anything,
Well,
why bother?
if somebody's reading a newsletter, they want, or they're reading a book or anything, they're looking for something.
You hope so.
Even if it's just entertainment.
Yeah, you hope so. You hope they're not just reading it to prove that they're already right. Don't waste your time.
Now, I will tell you that if you can't do this for yourself, if your house isn't in order, how are you going to do that for your customer, your seller? Because you need to have your seller temporarily suspend their ideas of how houses are sold so you can introduce to them ideas like the slot deal, the sandwich lease option transfer, where they can make 35% over market value. Right away, if you don't have that temporary relief suspension or temporary thought suspension, right, they're going to think you're scamming them. How could you pay me over 35%? Because the only point of contact, or the only point of reference is their experience.
Sure. A cash sale. Put on the market, have the realtor do it for you, and give you what's left over, and they don't think about that other way.
Right. So this is a bad thing. This is probably the most hardest thing for me to make. This is why I say I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Because my wife texted me in the middle of that. Anyways, the only way that you're going to need to suspend your temporary beliefs so that you could have new ideas. You got to clean the chalkboard.
Yeah.
Before you can write on it. Right? So this is the difference between struggling and not struggling. This is the difference between this is the psychological ammunition that you need to handle yourself, because if you don't, you won't be able to make them gargantuan leaps forward, and the interesting thing is these people will not consider this because they're know best and they think they're right. They won't even consider suspending their experiences or their ideas and listening. I didn't say do anything. It's just take the new idea in.
Yeah.
Okay? So
yeah, they already have their mind set on something, and you can't get a word in edgewise, and they're stuck on it. So used to use the word flexible. Will they be flexible? Like, will they even listen? And some people do, and of course some don't.
Another way to say it is they have fixed ideas.
Yep. Stuck ideas. Fixed, stuck, can't change your mind. Okay.
Just want to be right.
Yep.
All right, so those are the 4 things that I wanted to cover today before we go into the solutions to create a real estate scaling malpractice. So there's 6 of them, and I'm going to do the rest of the podcast talking about that. What I did is I broke each one of them down, because in podcast number 472, I named them. There were 6 of them, and we talked about all the manifestations and all the things that happen, and I called them the signs or the tell. You know you have this malpractice when this is happening. And I talked about that. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go over each malpractice. There's 6 of them, so I'm going to go over them one at a time. I'm going to briefly explain in a paragraph what the sign is or the tell is that you're actually going through that. And then I'm going to go over the solution. Then I'm going to go over the habits you need to change. And then I'm going to go over some quality control questions you should be asking yourself on how you know you're doing it and why these questions matter. So I'm going to do that for each one of them. Okay. So malpractice number 1, goals are for losers because work expands into your available time. Okay. So how do you know that you're doing this? What's the sign or the tell? Here's the brutal truth nobody wants to face. You're comfortable with your 1-year goal or 5-year goal or 10-year goal or 15-year goal for your financial freedom journey. I'm going to do 5 houses a month. I hear that all the time. And I'm going to make blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
when you do that, that's actually a psychological trap designed to keep you broke. That's why I say goals are for losers, because it's designed to keep you broke, right? These timelines, if the timeline tricks your mind, these timelines trick your mind into thinking you have unlimited time. And here's this is the crux of, if there's anything I could teach you today, or you could absorb and remember from this podcast, here it is. If your timeline isn't making today, your timeline is making today feel optional, while work expands like cancer into every available hour. You're literally programming yourself for procrastination while presenting to be strategic. Mm. Right? The perfect crime against your own success. So let's say you got a 5-year goal. At the end of 5 years, I want to make $25,000 a month. Sure. We've done this. I've done this to you on the podcast. Like, I break things down. Like, if you went 5 years and you bought one house a year, right? But here's the thing. What if you said to yourself, well, I don't want to do, if you took your 5-year goal, and most people don't even have that. Most people barely do a New Year's resolution. But if you did a 5-year goal, and you said to yourself, then you do the whole goal, everything you want, you get all the warm and fuzzies, and you're all excited, and you're like, oh my God, I got the solution, and it's turning, and it's rolling, and you're like a state of, what's the word I want?
A happy state, like euphoria?
Euphoria, that's the word I'm thinking. A state of euphoria, right?
You're real happy. Everything's fine.
Everything's good.
The future is bright.
As soon as you hit that point, what you do is you slide your timeline down to 1 year. And you ask yourself, how can I do it? Well, that's what we call an impossible goal. But if you temporarily suspend your beliefs in what you already think you know, ideas will come in. Right? I'll just give you a quick one. You're trying to figure out how you can make all the calls yourself. You want to call sellers and you want to make deals.
Yeah.
Right? So the best way to talk about this is who, not how. Remember when we went through all that?
Yeah, that's a good one. You don't know how to do something. You're struggling. You're sitting there with software or something, some technical thing or some problem, and you keep trying to figure it out. Why are you trying to figure it out if somebody else already knows how to do it?
Right. So, like, for example, if I want to build, I can just do it in email. If I want to build an email list, I could put up a website, I could send traffic to it, and I get people to opt into my website.
Yep.
Opt into my email so they get a free gift or they get newsletters or whatever, right?
Yep.
So I could do it one at a time, or I could go to Peter, who has an email list of 100,000 people that are interested in investing, and I could have work with Peter and have him send out 4 or 5 emails. And instead of getting, like, suppose I were to get 2 opt-ins a day, I'm getting 10 a week on my website. All of a sudden with Peter, I could get 5,000 people to opt in.
Yeah.
Right? You don't think like that until you suspend your current belief so you can think, how could I do that? You would have never had that. You would have never had that idea until you parked your ideas of, like, oh, I got to post on social media. You know, I got to be a YouTuber. I want to be an influencer. You know, all these ideas so you could be popular. If you suspended all those beliefs, what I'm talking about, Peter, what I'm talking about is a new word to you. It's not a who.
Oh.
It's a super who. It's a super who.
Yeah.
Getting hooked up with someone that just knows how to do it.
Oh, a super. Okay.
Okay. Were you going to say something before I moved on?
Well, yeah. You're talking about scaling what we wind up having eventually, and maybe we have to scale up what we're doing. But what I'm thinking, what you're saying is, You have to scale how you're thinking about it. Like, wait a minute, how can I do this better? What can I do? Instead of just grinding away. Oh, what if I? But scaling your thinking process to change what you're doing and what you're getting.
So, if you looked at be, do, have, that's what we're talking about is the beingness.
That's what I'm thinking. You want to acquire a bunch of stuff. Well, what do you got to do to get there? Then to do that, well, how do you figure it out in your own head? Like, what am I? Who am I? How? But you're talking about a super who knows how to do it. So you're scaling your thinking approach instead of, well, I can't because, well, what could I do? How about if I? And you don't have the answer. The problem with that to me is you don't have the answer when you sit down. But that's what you're good at, personally, you. You sit there, well, I don't know. But you keep sitting there, you smoke your cigar, you go for a drive, and then one day you go, oh, crap, what if I? Right, maybe it comes from a book. Maybe it's from a book or something you read.
I read a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and you get bang, there's an idea.
So the solution is set the goals so big they seem impossible. And then compress the timeline violently. I'm going to do 5 houses a month and make $5,000 per house. That's $25K a month in my pocket. And that seems impossible to you. Like, how am I going to do that? But see, here's the thing. Every human being has a mind, and the purpose of your mind is to solve problems. So either you give it problems or it finds its own problems. It's not going to stop working.
Yep.
So you need to give it this impossible goal, or seems impossible, and then you need to compress the timeline, right? Shrink your decade-long journey into 3 years. But here's a word that I want you to understand, because if you don't, you won't do this. Shrink your decade-long journey into a 3-year emergency that forces your mind to invent new approaches. Create a sincere mission like, I help sellers sell a house for a fair price on the date of their choice and as is condition, and I help buyers who normally couldn't buy a house buy one. That's what makes people want to help you accomplish it, because your mission statement is very clear. My younger sister has a son that's kind of, he's a biker dude and kind of not a nice guy. And I remember years ago that he was put in jail. She was in Connecticut, living in Connecticut, and he was put in New Haven jail.
Wow.
And he had a bond. I think it was like $10,000 or $12,000. Okay. She didn't have $10. And I remember her over the course of 3 to 5 days raising that $10,000 or $12,000 because it was an emergency. She did not want him in that jail because it was big boy jail, and she was afraid that he would be scarred mentally for life. And she was right. And she went through excruciating, like almost 20 hours a day, calling everybody, trying to get loans, credit cards, refinance her house. She did everything she could. It was an emergency.
Yeah.
Imagine if your mind thought like that all the time about your deals.
Yeah.
Here's the habits that need to change. Stop setting comfortable timelines that allow your work to expand, or your work expansion. Build the habit of creating impossible, tight goals that prevent work from filling comfortable time and force radical daily behavior changes. I'm going to talk about this later. We're going to bring it up now. Here's how you know that your goal is the right goal. It affects your plans for today. It's infected your plans for today. You're going to start noticing the things that you don't need and the things that you do need, what's going to get me, what's going to stop me, and it's going to infect your thinking for your goals today. It's going to actually motivate you. So here's some quality control questions you can ask. Does my compressed timeline prevent work from expanding into comfortable procrastination? Another one is, does my mission make sellers and buyers want to help me accomplish it because it benefits everyone? If you don't have a mission when you go into a transaction with a seller, you're dead. You need to have a mission. I mean, Jim Camp talked about that in his book called No.
Mm-hmm.
Your mission statement has to be portrayed on the other side of the table, and they have to help you get it because they believe. They become your fan club. C, or number 3, it is this timeline so tight it's forcing me to eliminate activities that don't create systematic income. And why do these questions matter? They force you to measure urgency creation, mission alignment, and eliminate effectiveness. The 3 pillars that prevent work expansion and create focused action. I think that should be eliminate ineffectiveness. Okay?
Yep.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, that's good. That's good ammo to make realistic changes. Makes a lot of sense. And it reminds me of like, I got a term paper due next month. I'll get to it. Or I'll get to it. Mm-mm.
Yep.
Mm-mm. You'll be pounding away the night before.
Yep. Malpractice number 2. You're an amateur disguised as a pro.
Mm-hmm.
The sign or the tell is, this one's going to sting. You think you're a professional, but you're actually an amateur wearing a business suit. Amateurs don't want accountability. They make excuses, miss deadlines, and practice until they can do something good enough. They're willing to let others down because their standards are lower than a snake's belly. Meanwhile, they're distracted by every shiny object and haven't faced the brutal truth. They can't have it both ways. They can't maintain their contradictory lifestyle and reach new levels of success. It's psychological warfare, and they're losing to themselves. Nothing else to be said there. The solution: transform to pro by determining accountability at all levels and establishing your lowest acceptable performance as the floor. Right? So I'll read that again. Transform to pro by demanding accountability at all levels and establish your lowest acceptable performance, known as the floor.
Mm-hmm. Your minimum.
Right. Ben Hardy uses the floor example in his book called The Science of Scaling.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Great book, by the way.
Mm.
So here's the thing. So if you got a goal to do 1 deal a week, there's no excuse.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one choice. Do 1 deal a week.
Yeah. What I really like that. 'Cause there's not enough time to put it off. It's like, get it later. There's no later because a week goes by really, really fast.
Right.
So you got to hit it. I like that.
So what acceptable performance do you have? Is this distracting me from getting a deal this week, or is this adding to me getting a deal this week? It's your acceptance level of performance. Right? Stop making excuses and start practicing until you can do things wrong. Stop making excuses and start practicing until you can't do things wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the amount of times over material creates certainty. The more you watch it, the more you read 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 it, the more certainty you get. Right?
Sure.
Face the truth that, in which, by the way, the best way to learn material is just to get on the phones and just do it over and over and over and over and over again. We just made a decision, which is this is probably a release. We just made a decision. Actually, Katie, who's one of our coaching clients, and she's also one of our salespeople, came up with the idea. She said that we offered it to her when we first sold the software to her, but I don't ever remember doing that.
Oh,
she says we did it, but here is a soft way of saying it because I haven't written it yet. I'm going to work on that later today. We're going to offer a 100% guaranteed money back, 100% money back guarantee on Creative REI Replay. We've not done that before. 3 years we've been in business. We've never offered a 100% money back guarantee.
no, I thought you were going to say you were going to institute the one where you get your, it's free if you get a deal. You don't have to pay that particular month, something like that. But 100% money back guarantee. Wow, go.
So what it's going to be is that you have to make a 90-day period. You have to make 100 phone calls.
Uh-huh.
Not 100 phone calls. You have to talk to 100 people.
Uh-huh.
Right? And if you can, and we know because we have in the back end of Creative REI Replay, we have what we call a health index, so we know what everybody's doing.
Uh-huh.
So it will be that you have to make phone calls, and you'll have to actually use the calculator, and you'll actually have to make offers.
Right.
So if you actually get to the end of 90 days and don't make a deal and comply to our agreement, then we'll give you your money back.
But you're pretty sure that if a person called 100 people, talked to them, used the calculator, they have to get deals. That's the point. You're actually forcing them.
I'm not pretty sure. No, I'm not pretty sure. I know if somebody calls 20 people, 15 or 20 people, because that's average. 20 people will say.
Yeah.
Using our scripts, they will make a deal. I expect them to have 5 deals with 100 phone calls.
Yeah, but 100, they have to do something, right? After 100. If not, they should just give up if they really do all that.
So you get 100% money back. If you call 100 people and you don't make a deal in 90 days, we'll give you your money back. Right? So face the truth that's reaching new levels means giving up most of what got you where you are now. I read that again. Face the truth. Face the truth that reaching new levels means giving up most of what got you where you are now. Choose what you're optimized for, and more importantly, choose what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you talk to these executives like Apple just announced that they're going to put $600 billion in the country on the glass in Tennessee, on the glass that they put in their devices, in their phones, $6 billion on just the glass.
Yeah.
In other words, the glass on the iPhone, on the laptops, on the iPads, on all their screens.
Yeah.
Right? Why would they do that? Why would they do that? They're focused. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They eliminate all the distractions. These guys that do this, these big, powerful CEOs, you think, oh my God, he must be really smart. Nope. I've met a few of them. They're kind of, some of them are dodos.
Yeah.
But here's their quality. Here's the quality that they do.
Yeah.
They're focused and they know what not to do. They're so focused on their path. It's like a racehorse with blinders on. They know what they want, and if it will make them go faster, they'll do it. If not, they're not going to get knocked off their pedestal. Right?
Okay.
Okay, so habits that you need to change. Stop accepting low performance and contradictory behaviors. Build the habit of setting your performance floor to holding yourself accountable daily. I call this measuring by statistics. Man, we're in trouble because we only got 20 minutes left and we're only on number 2. I got to just read it here. Eliminate distractions and contradictions immediately when you catch them.
Mm-hmm.
Quality control questions. What are my lowest acceptable performance for my floor? And am I maintaining it consistently? Another one is, what contradictions in my life am I willing to give up to reach the next level? That's a big one.
Yep.
Am I practicing until I can't do it wrong or just until I do it right? These questions matter because they establish your baseline standards, force you to identify self-sabotaging contradictions, and ensure you're building mastery, not competence. Malpractice number 3, paid hours versus valuable completed work, which we call VCW, the wealth solution. The sign or the tell is you're caught in the deadliest trap in business, trading hours for dollars like sophisticated slaves. Every property you personally view, every seller you personally talk to, every detail you personally handle is proof you're working in your business instead of on your business. You're confused being busy with being profitable. Meanwhile, work expands and your entire schedule like a hungry parasite, eating your time and keeping you poor. You're literally paying yourself minimum wage while calling yourself an entrepreneur. What's the solution? The solution is stop trading paid hours and start creating VCWs, valuable completed work, that work for you 24 hours a day like little soldiers. Build little soldiers, advertise option agreements and slot deals that create inventory while you sleep. The more valuable completed work, the more VCWs you have advertised, the more buyers you attract. Now, I have a new word here, a new acronym.
Mm-hmm.
Create a WOCRET, WOCRET.
Okay.
That's a well-oiled, creative real estate transaction.
Okay.
So you want to create a well-oiled, creative real estate transaction that delivers such an exceptional experience that clients become word-of-mouth ambassadors. Right? The habits you need to change: stop believing you must personally handle everything. Build a habit of creating VCWs, which is a valuable completed work, through systematic agreements that deliver income and transformational experiences without your presence while building marketing visibility inventory. The bottom line is, in creative real estate, we make all our money from the buyer. So you need to present properties to the buyers. This is how the MLS and realtors have survived for 75 years.
Sure.
Right? Is they get a house on consignment from a seller, sign a listing agreement, they put it on, and it's different now, but they used to have the multiple listing service back in the early 90s when the computer wasn't like it is now, internet was not like it is now, and they used to have this internal software that could tell them all the houses that were for sale in that town, and they could bring people out and show them houses. Since COVID, that's completely been flipped upside down because people have realized that they don't need a realtor to sell a house, and they can go on the multiple websites that offer houses for sale and actually do a transaction without the realtor.
Yep.
So habits to change. are stop believing you must personally handle everything. Build the habit of creating valuable, completed works through systematic agreement that deliver income and transformational experiences without your presence while building market valuable inventory. I just read that. Quality control. Questions are, how many valuable completed works do I have advertised where the market can see and respond to them? That is, if you have the more valuable completed work you have and able to advertise or on the market, the more money you make. The least you have, you make no money. This is why I've consulted people for 5 years on what to say to a seller, and they never make any money. Okay?
Sure.
In my WOCRET, which is well-oiled creative real estate transaction machine, right? You have to have such exceptional, you have to make it an exceptional experience that the clients become word-of-mouth ambassadors, right? Mm-hmm. And are deals falling in my lap because people seek me out, preventing work from expanding into deal hunting? So, how's your deal flow? Are you chasing? Are you catching? Actually, here we go. Are you pitching? Are you catching? That's a good way to put it.
Well, how about this? I had a nice conversation yesterday, sent the memorandum out. He texted me like an hour later, hey, my friend wants to do this. Can you talk to us at 1 o'clock today? Yep. So that was encouraging. You know, like, okay, I must have said the right thing. And I actually found out what he was trying to do and said, sure, we'll do that. Whatever you want. Of course. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. So it happens. You're right. It happens.
Yeah. Why do these questions matter? They measure your inventory creation, client transformation, effectiveness, and inbound deal flow. The 3 metrics that separate wealth builders from our traders. Malpractice number 4. Your business stops when you stop. The sign or the tell is, here's the embarrassing truth. You haven't built a business, you've built yourself a job with more stress and less security. When you go on vacation, everything stops. Deal flow dies. Marketing disappears. Income evaporates. You've created a machine that requires your constant feeding like some demanding, money-eating pet. You've unconsciously filled every available hour with activities that require your presence, building yourself a beautiful prison where taking time is literally costing you money. You're not a business owner, you're a highly stressed employee who can't even quit. Now, Kiyosaki wrote his book, The Cash Flow Quadrant, which talks about this. A lot of people have talked about this. I'm telling you the most stable piece of information you should give yourself. This should be what you should say every day. How could I buy my loafing time? How could I buy my time off? Right?
Yep.
The solution for this is creative systems that continually generate valuable completed works while delivering such exceptional client experience that they gain social status lifts. I don't have time to really explain that, but a social status lift is they get to move from that old house, that first time buyer house that they bought with their 3 kids, into a bigger house in a new neighborhood, and you give them a social status lift.
Mm-hmm.
You have somebody that has a house and they're really that it's really painful to them to own it, and you help them get rid of the pain, and all of a sudden they're happy in their life. You get somebody that's greedy and wants all the money, and you show them how they can get all their money, and you sell their private house for them, and they're bragging about how much money you made them. It's a social status lift.
Mm-hmm.
The WOCRET machine, the well-oiled creative real estate transaction is so oiled it creates almost religious experiences, generating word of mouth referrals that bring deals to your lap without hunting. The habits you need to change: stop accepting that your presence is required to make valuable completed work, generation, or client satisfaction. Build systems that deliver inventory creation and transformational transactions without your daily involvement. Test through planned absences. My book, Leads, Deals, and Cash, Creative Operator's Manual, is an entire blueprint on how to do that. And Creative REI Reply is the software we use. Between those two things, you could do this within the next 6 months, sometimes 90 days. Those two things, this is exactly what my whole mindset is about. That's why I write this. And you could do that easily with those two tools, the book and the software.
Mm-hmm.
Quality control questions you should be asking yourself to make sure you're on target. A, do my systems continue creating valuable completed works and exceptional client experience when I'm absent? B, is my WOCRET machine, well-oiled creative real estate transaction machine, so well-oiled it creates referrals that bring deals to my lap? I read a book a long time ago, and it talked about how do you gauge a business?
Mm-hmm.
What metrics do you use that gauges a business? And he went through chapters and chapters and chapters to get to the end on how many testimonials does it have.
Really? Okay.
C, are clients experiencing such satisfaction and status lifts that they become ongoing referral sources without my work or expansion into relationship maintenance? Why these questions matter: they test true business independence, referral generation effectiveness, and automatic relationship maintenance, ensuring your business serves you instead of enslaving you. I think every entrepreneur, and I am not one, but every entrepreneur should be the janitor of their business. They should just go in and kind of like inspect and make sure everything's clean and the garbage is empty and the place is ready for business.
Mm-hmm.
So they go through their systems and just check everything out.
Yep.
Malpractice number 5. You can't separate signal from noise. Signal from noise. Like what's good and what's bad, right? So the sign or the tell is you're drowning in a sea of opportunities. You can't tell the difference between wealth-building activities and time-wasting busy work. You're comfortable with your comfortable long-term timelines. Everything seems equally important, so work expands to fill every corner of your life with seemingly urgent tasks that accomplish nothing. So your activity is full of a bunch of urgent tasks that do not meet your results or what you want.
Yep.
You're like a dog chasing every car that passes. Lots of motion, zero progress. You mistake activity for achievement and wonder why you're exhausted, not wealthy. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I gauge people. I'm always gauging people. I'm horrible like that in my own head. I don't talk about it. But one of the ways that I engage people is the way I gauge people or measure people is their thinking producing one of these two results? Are they producing for achievement or for comfort? That's how I gauge people.
Mm-hmm.
I have been on a binge lately. People that I want to rules that you have to be to work with me, and I've got all these. You can see them here. I've got all these notes. I've been writing it for days.
Oh, Lord.
All these notes of like, if you want to work with me, these are the things that I have expectations of. Because I want results. I want achievement. The solution: use uncompressed goals as filters to direct attention towards valuable completed work creation and exceptional client experience. A signal: activities create advertised valuable completed works and referral generation experience. Noise: everything else. Your mission should make others want to help you while your WOCRET, which is the well-oiled creative real estate transaction, creates organic referrals. Habit that needs a change: stop treating all activities as equally important. Build the habit of filtering every opportunity through. Does this creative advertised inventory an exceptional experience that generates referrals? So is it doing that or not doing that?
Mm-hmm.
So if my habit, whatever I'm doing, does it create an advertised property, which is a valuable completed work? So when I say valuable, so it's probably too late to do this, but valuable completed work means it's finished. In other words, the seller signed the memorandum or the option agreement or the purchase and sales contract, and they're ready for you to go to work for them. And you could post it online and start selling it. So the valuable completed work is a posted and advertised piece of property. There is no other.
Mm-hmm.
And why is it valuable? Because it's going to make the seller money, it's going to make you money, and it's going to make give the buyer what they want. All right, so tight goals force focus. Comfortable goals enable distraction. Tight goals force focus. Comfortable goals enable distraction. So here are the quality control questions that you can give to yourself to make sure that you're in check with this. Does this activity create valuable created works and exceptional client experience, which is the signal, or allow work to expand into busyness? That's the noise.
Mm-hmm.
B, will this help people want to help me accomplish my sincere mission without expanding work into unnecessary areas? And C, am I using my goal to make present decisions about valuable completed work creation while preventing work expansion into time-wasting activities? These questions, they create decision filters that prevent work expansion. Notice that word, decision filters. Ensure mission alignment and force present moment valuable completed work focus, and eliminates the productivity trap of busy work. I know I'm cramming this down your throat today. I don't expect you're going to have to listen to this a couple times because I don't want to make 10 podcasts out of it. Malpractice number 6, you're growing slow, which means you're dying. The sign or the tell is while you're patting yourself on the back for your steady progress over your comfortable 5 or 10 year timeline or your 1 year timeline, whatever it is, the market is eating you alive. Inflation is destroying your purchasing power. Competition is getting smaller and faster. Technology is changing the game. You're like a person walking up and down an escalator. Lots of effort, but you're actually moving backwards. Your comfortable timeline isn't protecting you from risk. It's generating your failure. You're literally planning to lose by planning not to grow. The solution: embrace growth fast or die slow by rapidly creating valuable created work that generates income and referrals, set impossible deadlines that forced inventive VCWs, which is valuable completed work, creation, while maximizing transformational client experiences. Your mission must be so sincere people want to help you with your well-oiled creative real estate transaction machine, and it just automatically creates referrals. The habits that need to change: stop accepting gradual. What does that mean?
Well, in today's context, it's little bit by little bit by little bit.
Right. So stop accepting gradual, valuable, completed work creation over comfortable timelines. Build the habit of creating impossible, tight deadlines that force rapid, valuable, complete work generation while maintaining focus on almost religious client experiences that generate word of mouth for growth. Quality control questions. A, is my mission so sincere and helpful that people want to help me accomplish it without my work expanding into convincing activities? While my work expands into convincing activities. While my work expands into convincing activities. If you're spending a lot of time on the phone trying to convince somebody to do a deal, you're doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
B, it should be their idea. You should pose questions and have them go through the thinking process or the process of evaluating the information, because thinking is really overrated, because thinking is from your bad experiences in the past. You're going into the past and you're hanging on to all the things you did in the past that were not successful.
Yeah, they really stick. I mean, there's good things, but the bad stuff really sticks really bad.
Right. Okay, so what I'm saying is that if you're convincing activities, so you should allow somebody the opportunity, which is why it's a religious experience. As they go through it, they have ideas and epiphanies, and they're like, oh, I didn't know that. And it's like, it's enlightening for them. It's uplifting for them to have them work it out in their own mind, so now they're chasing you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not convincing them.
Mm-hmm.
B, is my timeline forcing rapid, valuable, completed work creation that generates both income and referral producing experiences while preventing work expansion? C, am I growing fast enough through valuable controlled work creation and word of mouth referrals to stay ahead of the market without allowing work to expand into panic mode? Why do these questions matter? They measure mission magnetism, growth acceleration effectiveness, and market competitiveness. Ensure you're building moments faster than market changes can erode your position.
Mm-hmm.
So the pattern after today that I just force-fed you with a fire hose: each solution prevents work expansion by creating comprehensive goals, establishing professional accountability floors, building valuable completed work instead of trading paid hours, creating systematic inventory generation, and developing referral production client experience, transforming you from a time trading operator into a systematic wealth builder owner. Like I said, everything that I just force fed you today, you can find all the details in my book, Cash Deals Creative Real Estate Operators Manual. and at Creative REI Replay. So, Peter, I'm going to go back to the last thing I'm going to say is I'm going to go back to the description, and I'm going to read something from the description.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, the difference between struggling and scaling isn't about market knowledge. It isn't about connection or capital, even hard work. It's about curing your amateur psychology. And most rookies, they're not ready or willing to do that. And already I have people that are listening to me, including you, that have decided that this is too much work. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying there are people that have decided that this is too much work, what I just gave you. I just fed you with a fire hose, and you think it's overwhelming. And that is your psychological mind speaking to you. It's actually your subconscious mind speaking to you, saying, I can't do all that. And you automatically disqualify yourself of being a pro. I've said my piece. Over and out. Thank you for all of your support. I want you to know that I really appreciate all the support. I really appreciate you telling other people about this podcast. I would really appreciate if you subscribe to us. If you liked us, you left a comment. Go to Amazon.com, type in William Hawthorne, get leads, deals, cash, Creative Real Estate Operator's Manual. Head on over to Creative REI Reply and get a free demo. So you can see everything that I'm talking about, how it will work for you, and how we've already built the system for you, and we hand them to you. And if you go over there soon, you will find the new guarantee, which is if you don't do a deal within 90 days, we'll give you your money back. So how are you gonna do that? It doesn't cost you anything. It's just an investment in yourself. Mm-hmm. So what has to happen is you need to make the decision that you're going to change, and this is how you do it. So you don't have to be like me and spend 30 years trying to figure all this stuff out. Mm-hmm. You could just go plug into what we've already built and just do deals. So again, thank you for all of your effort. Thank you for all your support over 473 podcasts. And if you have any questions or need any help, go to flippinghousesforrookies@gmail.com, and I will gladly answer your questions. All right, over and out. Flourish and prosper. That's your job.
This has been Flipping Houses for Rookies. The American Dream. What is it? It's called financial freedom, and with real estate, you'll have it. Without the banks, without the bigwigs, and without the realtors' nonsense. Bill and Pete are two real estate investors with 30 years plus of experience, hundreds of deals under their belts, and a mission to change the way you think about creative real estate. Do be sure to like, rate, and review the show. And after that, hit up our YouTube channel at Flipping Houses for Rookies /streams. We'll be back soon, and see you then on Flipping Houses for Rookies.